What's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review, and last night I went and saw Oppenheimer, one of the new summer blockbuster movies released this weekend. The other one being Barbie, and do not expect a Barbie review. I don't want to go see that. But I did get talked into going seeing Oppenheimer. I wasn't going to. But, I thought, why not, see what it's all about. And I was really surprised about this movie in a lot of different ways. So, I'm going to give my full thoughts on it now, as much as I can. Get it up to you guys today, so you can go see it. So, let's jump into my notes for the review. First off, this is a long movie. Over 3 hours long. Or about around the 3 hour mark for movies, which I think is pretty long. That doesn't mean that the movie is like really bad paced. I think there's a lot of good stuff in the movie. They pack a lot in there. So I think 3 hours for the length is definitely justified. But just know, if you're going to see it, it's going to be a long one, especially if you're seeing like an 8:30-ish showing. Don't expect to be out of the theater until a little before midnight. That's just how you're going to see it. During the whole movie, there was a lot of switches from the past to the present. Like, you start, like, the whole movie, they're going through like his trial post the bomb drop, post war, everything like that. But they're always flashing back to when he was growing up, where he was going to school, and then also the development of the bomb and everything leading up to that. Kind of catch up. There's a lot of flashes between that the trial and everything that they flash back to. It became a little hard to keep up, especially at the beginning of the movie. Once you get used to it, it's not super difficult to keep track of it or keep up with it. But definitely early on in the movie, just know that that's what's going on. So yeah, and just talk about, again, hard to keep track. There's a lot of different characters and a lot of different storylines and a lot of different underlying tones and a lot of different things that you really have to pick up on and really pay attention to. And a lot of them can come in more of a rapid fire way. Even though this is a long movie, they jump around and they tackle a lot of different stuff. I mean, most of this movie is centered between like mid-1930s to the 1950s. So, Great Depression, World War II, even in the start of the Cold War. So there is a lot of stuff that they pack in here, and there's a lot of characters to decipher and a lot of story to break down here. So it can be hard to keep track of everything, and it might get a little bit overwhelming at some points. But eventually, at some point during the movie, I was able to figure it out, and I was able to kind of keep up with it. But it did definitely take me a while, so just know that going in. I can't tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many times they said Heisenberg in the movie, and I know they weren't talking about that Heisenberg. That's all I could think of. It didn't help that like the Los Alamos base is in New Mexico, so I couldn't help myself to laugh during that part. Oh, so funny. Oh god, the Heisenberg references. Oh, they definitely slapped in this movie for sure. Another character that got a lot of, not necessarily just talking points, but a lot of screen time was Albert Einstein. I'll be honest, I forgot Albert Einstein was even alive during World War II. He didn't die until the 1950s. I didn't know that. So therefore I didn't even expect him to be in this movie at all. Or if he was, maybe really early on in the movie. But he gets a lot of screen time, and he plays a pretty pivotal role as kind of like the bounce off for Oppenheimer and on some other people's theories and talking points and stuff like that. I don't know, it was kind of weird how like they fit him into this movie. He's in the movie too much to be just considered like a one-off side character thing, but he's not in the movie enough for it to be considered a main character. So he's kind of like that awkward middle ground. The guy who played him, I think, did a pretty good job of it. But it could. I guess maybe it could have been done a little bit better. But there's just a lot of him in this movie, and I just really didn't expect that at all. So, Also, Matt Damon was a part of a lot of the marketing for this movie. He was in a lot of the trailers. So I expected him to be in the movie almost the entire time. He actually doesn't show up until closer to the midway point of the movie. Once he shows up, though, he's in the movie a pretty consistent basis up until the end. But he shows up later than I thought. And even when he does show, like I said, he's there pretty consistently, but I expected him to be a little bit more than that, even. He's definitely in there, not as much as I thought he would be for how much he was promoted in the movie. So that was I guess. But I mean, you watch the movie, you didn't really need all the Matt Damon that we may have expected, so it's not that big a deal. But just something I picked up on. And Matt Damon, Albert Einstein, those are just two wild actors in this movie. I had no idea that Robert Downey Jr. was in this movie. Plays a not really what I think for Robert Downey Jr. plays an actor, though I've only ever seen him in Iron Man, other than as Iron Man in Marvel movies, other than this one. So it just kind of felt out of place for him to be there. Also, Josh Peck from Drake and Josh is in this movie. He gets like 2 lines. That was the most wild thing ever, in my opinion, that he was in this. 2 lines. He literally gets 2 lines in the whole movie. He gets some other non-speaking parts where he's just there. He's the one who actually presses the button to blow up the bomb. Like, holy moly, dude. It's crazy that we're even seeing him in this movie. It was insane. Also, the guy who played Harry Truman, we do get quite a few presidential references here. We do get some FDR references. We get Truman, Eisenhower, and JFK. But this is before JFK was president, so does it really count as a presidential reference? I guess so, because he would end up becoming president. But the only president we actually get to see on screen is Harry Truman. In one meeting between him and Oppenheimer at the White House or Capitol or whatever. The guy, Noah summed this up perfectly. Harry Truman kind of looks like Colonel Sanders in this movie. He just looks really weird. I've seen pictures of Harry Truman. I know rough about what he's supposed to look like. This was, and you could tell it was Harry Truman. It wasn't like super off, but it could have been done a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 big overarching points that I have about this movie. There are just some really, really crazy scenes in this movie. One that I will point out in particular is when he's like when Oppenheimer's at the on trial, and he's talking about like this girl he had an affair with, and like one minute he's in a suit, and they go behind a guy, and then he's butt naked getting railed by the girl in the chair, like in the trial. Now that's obviously not how it was, but like obviously that's not true, but it's just showing like he's thinking about her and that kind of thing. That was just an insane scene to see in the theaters. And there's just a lot of other stuff. And then like the celebration announcement after he's like telling people that work at Los Alamos about the Hiroshima bomb, and there's like a lot of scenes where his mind is kind of coming out about how like his thoughts, like how the visualization of how real it was when the bomb was dropped, and like seeing the effects of that happen to the people in this room, and he like steps on a vaporized body, and he's like got the white lights and then the sounds and stuff like that. And it's really well done. It's just a lot to unpack, and it is very, very tense and very powerful pieces of the film. And a lot of that's also done near the end of the movie as well, when the trials are ending. He gets some of that again. So it's definitely pretty hard to keep up with. There's a lot of sex stuff in this movie too. I will not lie. That was not something I was expecting to see. But oh well, they gotta give it an R rate. They gotta make it an R-rated movie somehow, don't they? But yeah, it's crazy. And I guess it's just more. It just shows like how powerful, and most of these more powerful, tense scenes take place in the last hour of the movie. A lot of people don't know this going in. The bomb is dropped about 2 hours into the movie. Like I said, it's a 3-hour long film. So 2/3 of the way in, the bomb happens. The last hour is spent on the after effects of it, the trials, all that kind of stuff, kind of connecting the dots back to stuff that we saw earlier on in the film. So that is where a lot of these more powerful scenes come to life and are shown to us. So just know that going in, if you plan on seeing the movie. But and then the final thing is, I've been talking about like them with the bomb and stuff. This movie actually does not. This main focus of this movie is not the bomb, though. And they do talk about it a good amount, but the main focus of the movie is actually more political focused, cracking down on communism, and the morality of the situation with the war and the making the bomb and everything like that. So that's more of what all of this is about. They spend a lot of time doing that throughout the entire film, and that's what the trials mainly is. Is he associated with the Communist Party? What's going on here? And that's why I feel like this movie, and I feel like that would have worked better if this was more of a Cold War period movie, because that's what a lot of people associate the Cold War to be, mostly building up nuclear arms, but also trying to crack down on communism in the United States. Whereas World War II, yeah, that was definitely present, and that was there, but that was more so, World War II was mostly, stopping the Nazis and everything like that, as well as, the buildup of the atomic bomb. So, and it works. I mean, they connect it well, and it definitely makes sense, and they definitely did it well, but, I just was more led to believe that it was going to be more about the bomb, not about the communist crackdown stuff. So, just know that going in, that's exactly what you're probably going to see. So, that's really all my notes for Oppenheimer. This is a very confusing movie to keep up with, but it is a good one. They pack a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff to learn. It can be very powerful, like I said, near the end of the movie. And they do a really good job with like visual effects, mostly more sound effects too. They do a really good job with that, portraying the movie. So I think this is a really good movie, and if you get the opportunity to see it, I would definitely go give it a watch. Did it deserve to be Barbie in the theaters? I don't know, because it didn't. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go see Barbie, so I can't really know. But, anyway, that's going to do it for my review. My final score for Oppenheimer, I'm going to have to give it probably an 8 out of 10. This was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. So, that's going to do for this video, though. If you've ever seen Oppenheimer, if you have, in the theaters, I guess it's only been out for a few days, time of this going up, I'd like to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. So stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including more movie reviews and other awesome stuff. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.